This is the ultimate dual sport ECU review. I'm going to break down the Vortex, the Aim, the Get RX1, and the Get SX1. I'm going to go through all of it, what it's like starting, throttle response, full pulls on it, and I rode these all back to back in the same day. So I'll be able to give you direct feedback how they perform, how the throttle response feels, how each ECU tractors, how they lug in third gear. I'll go through traction control, all the features, and I'll do a breakdown. I'll give my overall opinions of what I think about each ECU. I got all three ECUs. This is the Get SX1 from Athena with Moto. This is brand new. This is the Taipan AIM with Moto maps. And we have the Vortex. And the Vortex we're going to run, there's no Moto maps on this. We're just going to run this and see how they do. I'm going to run all three of these back to back. So right now, today, I'll take you along. We'll try it out. I'm running all of them in map 1. That's the juice, the full beans. That's what we're after. I'll start with the Taipan. Put the Aim in first. And we're going to run them, test them all out, see how it goes. And I am running a Graves full titanium exhaust with the end cap in. Here's a startup in the Aim. Yeah, so you can tell the idle's really good. I'll take it for a rip on the road. I'll show you some off-road. I'll show you the throttle response. I'll show you how good it crawls. All that kind of stuff, and I'll do each one the same way. Okay, here we go. Still the Aim, get a little off-road. It's the Aim ECU from Taipan. Power-wise, the Aim is very good. It's very torquey down low. It has a very smooth throttle response, but it has lots of power on the bottom end. It's got good hit. The throttle response is very smooth. It has power in the mid, but I feel like it lacks power on the top end. I think power-wise, the Aim is a little less than the other ECUs. The Aim just kind of lacks middle to top end power. The Aim compared to the stock ECU on a Honda 450 RL or L, it's just way better. It has a better throttle response. It's smoother, it has more power down low, it tractors better. The throttle response is very smooth. Like when you first get into it, it's not jerky or any of that like a typical production Honda. The throttle response is very smooth. Once you get into the throttle, there's still hit. Like I said, there's a lot of power and torque on the bottom end, and I feel like it makes the Aim better for like single track if you're kind of hard enduroing or single track. Some of the slower stuff, the Aim is going to be better for that. And the Aim, I feel, tractors really well. That first initial part of that curve is where the Aim shines the most. First gear, no throttle, no clutch. I am going uphill, but it's still tractoring 5 miles an hour. I've added flywheel weight, so this flywheel helps the tractor a lot better. But with the Aim, it tractors just fine. Let me show you the throttle response. Super smooth. Really good throttle response, very smooth, it's crisp. I can give it a little throttle and it's not jerky or any of that. Slow down a bunch. Third gear still. And And as you can see, it'll lug very well also. I'm in third gear lugging. I'm kind of a lazy rider, and the 450-500s are better for this type of riding where you just not shifting a lot, not a lot of throttle, just lugging around in third gear, and the AIM is really good for that. Remove the AIM, and we're gonna connect the, it's 5, 5, 5. Low, mid, high is all 5, and then we're running map 1, which is all the beans. Alright, I'm going to do the same thing. This is how the Vortex starts. Sounds good. Good idle. Let's go out on the road. And it already feels like it's got more juice. Not bad, not bad. Off-road with the Vortex. The way the Vortex starts is good. The way the bike runs with the Vortex is very good. You know, usually when you get a lot of power, they're real vibraty. This is not. The engine runs real smooth with lots of power from these. Much better than the stock configuration ECU, that's for sure. As you can see in here, the Vortex, it runs smooth and tight. And there's power, there's lots of power on the bottom end, there's power in the middle, and there's power on the top end. So I feel like through the whole curve, the Vortex is giving me good power, really good power. I like the way it runs, I like the way it feels, I like the throttle response, it's very smoothed out. There's still a lot of hit there once you get into the throttle. I was really happy with the way the Vortex feels and performs. Not bad. It's got power. Let's try the tractoring. First gear. I'm going uphill though. No throttle. No clutch. It's tractoring. I got the extra flywheel weight, which helps. But it's very similar to the other one. It's very similar to the AIM. And the throttle response, you can hear it. Same thing, and it's tractoring very nice and smooth, no problem. It's just very crisp, very tight feeling. No vibration, lots of power through the whole curve. I was really impressed with it. Third gear. And the same thing, it lugs third gear, just lugging around in third gear. It's great. The Vortex compared to a stock ECU, I think the Vortex is way better, right? It starts good, it runs good, it feels good. Throttle response is very smooth, but everything's tight. There's good hit, there's good bottom end, there's good middle, there's good high end, and you can feel that. In the seat, as an average rider like myself, you can feel that. Alright, taking the Vortex out. There's all kinds of people. I ain't got time for all of them. So I put the Vortex, or the Get ECU. This is from Moto and Athena. The SX1. Get SX1 startup. Idle sounds good. Okay, here we go. Here we go again.
the Get SX1 off-road.
Next up is the Get SX1. This is brand new from Moto. It's just hit the website, so you can order it as of now, but this just came out. The way it runs is very smooth. Same thing, it has lots of power, but it doesn't vibrate. It's very smooth. It's running very tight. It's got like good idle. It's just, it allows the Honda to really run really good. Now the SX1 has a brand new map in it. Okay, Moto's been refining the map that they have for the RX1, and they've refined it even more for this SX1. It comes with a new map, and this new map is like excellent. It's excellent. The throttle response is very smooth. There's plenty of hit, there's plenty of bottom end, there's plenty of middle, and there's lots on the top end, right? There's more power through the whole curve with this SX1 in a new Moto map. And you can feel it. The throttle response, super smooth. Feels very crisp, very tight. I can give it just a tiny bit and it'll go. It's not jerky. It's very smooth, but there's plenty of hit once you get into the throttle on the bottom end there. And like I say, they're just power through the whole thing. I'm really, really happy with the way this feels, rides, and it's noticeable. Again, an average person sitting in the seat, you can feel this stuff.
No throttle, no clutch, uphill, extra flywheel weight. It's tractoring good. The throttle response. Smooth. That initial part is very smooth, but when you get into it, the juice is there. Lug's pretty good.
I think some people will buy these, but without riding them all back to back in the same day, it's hard to tell what's what. You have to be able to ride them back to back to really feel what's going on. And they all are good. They're all smooth. They all have a smooth throttle. They all feel really good. Now, that was all on map 1, right? I did that back-to-back test ride, power runs, trail rides, everything, show you how well they lug, how well they tractor around, how well the throttle response is, and how well they run, basically how the engine feels and runs. They each have different features. So the AIM comes with multiple maps. You have a race map, an enduro map, and an economy map. They come with other ones, but it's like if you have a stock exhaust and stuff. So map 2 is really nice. Like you can feel, it's just a less power and it doesn't break the wheel loose as easy. It's more manageable. In map 1, it still tractors really well. And in map 2, it tractors just as good. It's just more manageable because there's a little less power there. And in map 2, it's going to allow you the traction control. Map 2 for the Vortex is really pretty nice.
Alright, so I got the Vortex in. I'm going to run map 2. I'm in map 1 right now, but run the Vortex map 2. This is a toggle switch you can get from Moto, right? Be able to switch with the Vortex map with a toggle switch. So we'll go on to map 2. A little bit of rain coming.
It's hard to tell, but it is more manageable because it is a little less power. And it's hard to tell there's a little less power. I had to flip back and forth between them, but you can feel it. If you're flipping back and forth between it, you can feel it. The Vortex, you can adjust the maps It has a 1 through 10, but essentially you're doing like a 1 and 2. Map 1 race and an enduro map 2. But it has 1 through 10 maps, and some of those maps are with stock exhaust, and some of those maps are like FMF, and map 1 and map 2 is what most people use.
Map 2 Athena Get SX1 startup.
And then the Get SX1, it has a map too, or it's an enduro map. I think it's a little less fueling, so I think if I ran like lower octane, it would run fine. Cause on map 2 I get a little decel pop, but I think that's because I'm running 91 instead of like 87 octane. But also the decel pop is not a big deal to me. It's not a lot, and I think it's just because of the fueling. It's same thing. It starts fine. It runs good. The throttle response is very smooth. It's not jerky at all. It's very manageable. It's pretty nice. All 3 of these ECUs have traction control available. So with the Vortex, you can turn it off and on real easy. If you put the bike in neutral and the bike is running and you push the start button, the engine light will flash. That means you're in traction control. Now if you shut the bike off and the power off, it's not going to go back into traction control. You'll have to reset it, but it's very easy to set. On the Vortex, you can engage traction control in any map. It's really pretty nice. It's basically got like one setting. What you get is what you get. It's not too intrusive, but you can also feel it. So it's kind of like, compared to the others, it's like a mid-range, maybe like a 3 or a 4 versus the Get traction control. It doesn't cost any money to have traction control on the Vortex. It already kind of comes with it. So the Vortex is pretty cool. Now let's talk about the AIM traction control. Now the bummer about this is you have to have the LED multi-mode map switch to have traction control. Now you can buy a toggle switch to switch between map 1 and map 2 for the AIM, but you're not going to have traction control. You need the LED map switch. But with the LED map switch, you have 5 modes of traction control compared to 1 with the Vortex. With the LED switch, you can only run traction control in map 2, the enduro map. You can select 1 through 5, 1 being the least intrusive and 5 being the most intrusive. And I went through each one of them. 1 is really good. You can tell it's there. It's got some traction control, but it's hardly intrusive at all. And 5 being the most intrusive, it's not super intrusive. It's not like, it still allows the wheel to break free, just not initially. And as you get up higher and more throttle, more RPMs, then it'll let the tire break free. A level 5 on the AIM, the most intrusive, is equivalent in my opinion to about a 5 or 6 on the Get. The Get SX1 and the RX1 both have traction control.
It has a dial from 0 all the way up to 9. Up to 10. 10 being the most intrusive. Right, I'm gonna start off with a 10 right off the bat.
It has a traction control knob that you can buy extra, and that's just spectacular. That's like KTM. I've rode BMW traction control, I've rode KTM traction control on their big ones. I've paid extra for their good stuff, and it's worth every penny. To be able to dial in from 1 through 10 the amount of traction control you want, it's awesome. And the Get SX1 and RX1 both do it with the knob. I went through each one. And the 10 isn't super intrusive. It's not. Like, it'll still let the rear wheel break loose. It's not like 100% traction control, right? It's really nice. And it's really nice to have that much variation to be able to adjust what you want. I know people like Chris Birch, he runs around with a 6 on his KTM traction control. So professional riders are using a lot of the traction control. And I wouldn't be surprised that like Hunter and Jet Lawrence, they're using traction control on their motorcycles that they're racing for Honda. There's 2 ways to get traction control on the Get ECUs. One is the knob and dial in what you want, or you could do it through a laptop where you could preset each map. So say map 1, which is like race map, you could say I want 1 no traction control, but then you can have your enduro map 2, you could say I want a 10 traction control on that. So Moto can set that up for you before they send it out. Let's say you want traction control, but you don't want to buy the knob, you don't want to pay for the knob, you don't want to use it, you don't want to put it on your bar, maybe you break it, you know, just don't want to deal with it. You have Moto set up with either map, a preset for traction control, a 1 through 10 that you want. A lot of people are doing a 1 on map 1 and then a 10 on map 2 for traction control the most. That's not a bad idea. Sometimes I don't know if I want to deal with the knob. And I don't know how much traction control I've used, you know. You never know though, when you have it, you'll use it. But you can get traction control on the Get without paying extra money. The Vortex, you can have traction control without paying money. But the Aim, you have to buy the LED map switch to get traction control feature. I know a lot of people will complain, say traction control, I don't need it, my traction control is the throttle. Yeah. The traction control is just getting better and better and better. This isn't your daddy's traction control. This stuff's getting better and better and better. These rider A's, they're just phenomenal. It's impressive what they can do nowadays. With these ECUs, we can have these features in our dirt bikes, our dual sports. Let's talk about fueling and custom tunes on all three of these. So there's adjustability on each of the units for yourself, but there's also, you could take it to somebody professional or, you know, and set it up with a laptop and develop custom maps for all these ECUs. Wanted a custom tune for yourself? Any of these ECUs are capable of that. Now let's talk about gas mileage. All these ECUs, they're all very similar. Realistically, fuel mileage is gonna range depending on how much throttle and how you're riding. All that stuff, right? The way I ride, I average about 40 miles an hour, and I feel like it's pretty close to that on all these ECUs. I rip around on my Honda 450 RL, but I get close to 40. It could be as low as like 20 for some people, and it could be as high as like 50 or 60 for some people. It all just depends on how you ride. And obviously different maps are gonna help you save fuel. Now let me talk about the difference between the RX1 and the SX1. The Get RX1 is what is previously out with Moto. It's what I bought, it's what I ran on my KTM 350, it's what I had on my 450 RL. I was really happy with it. It ran good, it felt good, the throttle response was much better than stock. I felt like it had good power. I just really liked it. I enjoyed it. But here's the difference between the RX1 and the SX1. Basically, you're getting a new chipset. With the SX1, it's going to be able to process more stuff faster because it's got new hardware in it. It's the latest generation CPU you can get. But with that bigger chipset, it allows it to see more information, give you more information, right? So it has this display data. It tells you RPMs, throttle position, all this great information to have. And it gives you new fan control. You can adjust the fan, have your fan come in and cut out when you want. That's great features to have. But all that is because of the new chipset, right? The RX1's not going to be able to do that because it doesn't have the computing power to be able to do that. So you'll never get those features of like adjusting the fan or displaying the data, all that stuff. What you're gonna be able to do with the RX1, Taco is gonna have a tune at home. They're basically gonna send you a header that has an O2 sensor on it, and it's gonna run to a unit that's gonna collect data from your Get ECU to help make a custom tune. The RX1 is going to be able to get that. You're going to be able to do that when that comes available. That's not available yet. They're working on getting that set up. Moto could send you this kit. You plug it to your bike. You can ride around where you ride. Let's say you're in Colorado. You can ride what you ride and everything. It's going to be better than a dyno. And it's going to give you information. Then you take that information, you give it back to Moto, and they're going to make a map for you that's custom for where you ride, how you ride, environment, conditions, everything. That's gonna be possible with the RX1, it's just not there yet. With the RX1, you're also gonna be able to get the updated map that's in the SX1. And this map is excellent. This map is refined. This is the Get map that you want. And you're gonna be able to get it. He'll do a reflash special where you send it in and be able to get your stuff reflashed. I don't know when it's gonna be available, but it will be. So if you have the RX1, you're not losing everything. You're going to be able to get the custom tune at home thing if you want to be able to do it, and you're going to be able to get the updated map. You know, the RX1 still has the knob for the traction control. It still has the Wi-Fi module where you can adjust things with your phone, switch maps with your phone. You can do all kinds of cool stuff with your phone. The features the SX1 is going to give you, it's the fan control. You have a maintenance log that you can do. It'll also give you trouble codes, so you can troubleshoot what's going on. It's going to give you all that extra data. The display data is the RPMs, throttle percentage, temperatures, all that good stuff. I hope that clears up the difference between the RX and the SX1 and what the RX will be getting and what you get extra with the SX1. All right, now let me give you my final thoughts, my recommendations, and my comparison on these things. Let's start with the Vortex. The Vortex power-wise is awesome. It's awesome. I like the way it runs. I like the way it feels. I like the throttle response. I like the hit. I like how there's power from the bottom, the middle, and the top end of the curve. It lugs good, it tractors good, like it rides, it performs. It's good. It also has traction control. It's just got one setting of traction control, but it does have traction control, and it's fairly decent. Not super intrusive, not non-existent. It's easy to turn on the traction control, and you don't have to buy a bunch of extra stuff for the Vortex. Like, what you get is what you get. Now, the problem with the Vortex is it's older. It can't do as much as some of the newer processors, right? Just not processing as much information. If you don't need that, the Vortex is cool. You're just looking for a cheap solution to fix the stock ECU, the Vortex is awesome. The other thing is you can take it to a tuner and have a custom tune put in, and so it's legit. This is my opinion. If you could get a Vortex used for $500, $600, you should jump all over it. It's worth every penny. I feel like if you're gonna buy Vortex new for $800, whatever they are, you might as well just spend a little bit more and get the upgraded Get ECU. It's gonna give you more features, do more stuff. The maps, power-wise, they're really close. The way they run is very similar, but the Get just has more power through the whole curve, and you can feel that. I think if you ride them back to back, you can definitely feel it. But the Vortex, if you can get it used, jump all over it. If you're just looking for a simple fix, it's good. I just wouldn't be paying full price for it. Not with the stuff that's out there now. Let's talk about the AIM. Power-wise, down low, the AIM is really good. It's really torquey. Very smooth throttle response. It's very nice. I feel like it lacks top end for sure. I think it lacks a little bit on the mid. Power wise, I don't feel like it's the most powerful one, but I feel like it's the one that's going to tractor better throttle manageability, right? It's going to lug around a lot better. One of the problems with the AIM is like you have to buy the LED map switch to get traction control, and that kind of sucks. You can tune on the fueling and stuff if you have the map switch. It's extra money for that. Is it worth it? It's nice to have the map switch. You can get a toggle, but you're not getting the traction control. So I think the map switch is nice to have, and it brings in the traction control. But then when you do that, you have 1 through 5 setting for traction control, which is pretty cool. Price-wise, I think the Vortex is $800. The AIM with the map switch is $900. That leaves us the Get SX1 ECU. From my riding, my testing, and my riding them back to back, the Get ECU is top shelf, the creme de la creme. Power-wise, this new map that Moto has for the Honda on the SX1, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. The old map on the RX1 had power through the whole curve. This has more power through the whole curve, and it just runs smoother. It's tighter, it's crisper, it's more refined, it's smooth. This is the best my bike has ever run, is with this new map on the SX1, for sure. I think performance-wise, second is the Vortex. With the Get, it's top shelf. Now the RX1 is really good. That some people thought the Vortex was better than the Get RX1, and I could see that there was a case to be made. I don't know if that was true. I think the RX1 was better, but this SX1 is even better. This map is awesome. What makes Get so awesome? Well, this is the same ECU that Hunter and Jet Lawrence are running, Chase Sexton are running. Honda's winning championships and they're blowing doors. People say the Honda 450 isn't a premier dual sport, it shouldn't even be on the list. They're blowing doors on everybody, come on. And they're running the Get ECU. It's got more fine tuning that you can do on your own. You could also take it to a professional tuner and have it tuned, custom tuned. It's got traction control that's got 10 different modes. It comes with the fan control, comes with a maintenance log, troubleshooting codes. It's displaying all the cool data that we want. Performance wise, it's creme de la creme. I really like it. I like the Vortex. They're close, but the Get is definitely better with this new map. The Get is also going to come with like the Tune at Home program that Moto's working on. So you'll be able to do a custom tune on your own bike the way you ride. And it's pretty cool, but you have to be patient with that. That's coming. I think all these ECUs, they fix the flame out issue that the stock ECU has. All of them fix the jerky throttle response that the production Honda has. They all can be taken to a professional tuner and have custom tunes put in them for you. They all can have a toggle switch on the bar to help you flip through maps. They all come with traction control. Some have a little more than others in the traction control. Some have more in the tuning. They're all really good. I know the AIM, Taco's gonna refine the map in the AIM. And that's what they did with the Get. They had the one map and it was good, but now it's even better. So they'll do that with the AIM. You gotta be patient with that as well. They're all good. They're all really good. My favorite is the Get, the SX1. Just because of all the features, all the traction control. For me, it's just the power of the map. I like the map. I like the way my bike's running. I like the way it feels. It just has power all the way through it. Bottom, middle, and top. Lots of hit. Plenty of hit and lots of bottom. Lots of front side, as they'd say. The Get is my favorite. I feel like it's top shelf. So I feel like you're going to pay a little more money. But that's part of it. I don't know. I think that about covers it. If anybody has any questions, comment below. I'll try to answer them. But let me know what ECU you're running. Would you upgrade? I know we'd all like to upgrade, but it doesn't necessarily mean we all will, right? We'd all like to have the new features and the new map, right? Comment and let me know what you think down below. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe. Give me a thumbs up, and I will catch you guys later.